What do you mean?
You've come up in our management meeting.
My heart sank, but I refused to show it. I can't imagine why. Of course I know. The sneaky bastard probably brought me up.
You broke one of our rules when you made business into pleasure. That kind of behavior can't be tolerated. And if we don't deal with it right now, we may have a crisis on our hands with other drivers believing they can cross that line.
I could barely argue about becoming personal with a client when I was living with Declan. But for God's sake, we were both adults who were in love. He was acting like the world would come to an end because I'd fallen in love with a client. All right, then. I understand. How much of my pay are you docking?
We're putting you on suspension.
What?
It's a decision that management made. 2-week suspension.
I swallowed hard, thinking about those 2 weeks that I would be without work. I wanted to protest, but what would I say? I had broken a rule, and 2-week suspension meant 2 weeks off to spend time with Declan. I should have felt guilty about where my thoughts veered, but I couldn't argue the extra time to spend with Declan. I suppressed a grin. All right, I answered. That's maybe fair.
Your suspension starts now, he remarked. I've already assigned your next client to Jake.
Ouch. He couldn't even wait to get rid of me. Well, I wasn't one to argue. Neither did I want to come across as insubordinate, so I rose to my feet and held out the car keys to him. Here you go.
Thanks. Please stop by my office on your way out to leave your employee ID and collect your letter of suspension, which details your infraction and when you are expected to return.
I collected my personal belongings from the locker room, then knocked on his office door. It felt strange, handing in my work ID. It also felt strange for him to ask for it. I had never seen another worker having to relinquish their IDs unless they were dismissed.
Enjoy your time off, Owen.
I nodded, distracted. I will. The words came out before I could stop them, and Trevor frowned at me. Before he could say anything else, I left the office and went to find my car, wondering how Declan would react to the news. I didn't want to tell him, because I feared he would try to take matters into his own hands and fix it. But his money couldn't fix this one. I was too deep in thought to listen to any of the audiobooks Declan had bought for me. I'd given him my list of 5 books, and he had handed it back to me to add more. When he gave me back the list a second time, I had jokingly written my top 100 list of audiobooks I wanted to listen to. I never expected him to buy them all, but that he had done. There was an unfamiliar car parked in the courtyard when I got home, one I didn't recognize, and I had seen all Declan's cars in the garage. At first, I paused, contemplating leaving, so he'd have privacy with whomever had visited him. I was being a coward, not sure what to expect. Other than his staff, who made me feel at home, no one I knew was aware of our relationship. I hadn't met any of his friends or colleagues yet, except for Ridge, and Declan had confirmed he was with Daddy Heath, whoever the hell that was. In the end, I decided to go in. There was no time like the present. Declan and I lived in this bubble he had created for us, but eventually we would be presented before the world. I had to face the inevitable that there were people who wouldn't like our match, because we were the same gender. Others would disapprove because of our ages. I sincerely hoped my kids wouldn't be among those, as I planned to inform them of my relationship with Declan once we met up at James's home for the 4th. Damn, I keep forgetting to mention that to Declan. There was no sign of David when I entered the house, but the place was huge, and he could be anywhere. I usually found Declan in either of 2 places when I returned home, the gardens or his office. He wasn't in the gardens, so I made my way to the office. I stood outside, hearing the muffled voices from inside. I didn't want to disturb him, but I planned to stick my head in out of curiosity to find out who he was with and to let him know I was home.